always find it interesting when I hear women say that there's a gender war, it's women against men, and, you know, if you talk like I do, you hate men. I always find that interesting, the word war. And I touched on this before, because a war would insinuate that it's an equal playing field. And there's statistics to prove that there ain't, right? There's statistics that prove that men actually have the upper hand in so many cases, and women just do not. And then once you factor in race, skin tone, age, body shape, all that, it could get even worse for you. LGBTQ. I'm always like, gender war? Whatever do you mean? While I will say that there might be some women who legitimately, from the depths of their soul, fucking hate men. But when I do a deep dive into their situation, they've either been traumatized repeatedly by men or had one major traumatization, if that's a word, that fucked them up completely, that made them feel this way. And from time to time, I've had trolls that have made me be like, you know what, I fucking hate men. I've joked about it, and I have felt it from time to time. But overall, I don't hate men. And I'm literally just calling out so many situations where women don't feel safe, where women are being taken advantage of, where men could do better, where men need to be held accountable. And it just boggles my mind how people take that and they think, you hate men. So you're not supposed to hold men accountable. You're supposed to let them continue doing what they're doing. They make more money than us, even if it's the same exact job, same title, same amount of work, they're going to make more than you. And then you factor in if they're a white man, especially, they're going to make more than you. There's no good maternity leave for women, how we're treated when we go to the gynecologist, how we're treated when we have babies, especially if you are a woman of color, a black woman. But to a certain extent, I get it, because when I was young mentally, when I was very much in my pick-me phase and a male apologist, I would say shit like that too. Like, there's a gender war. We're just against, I like saying that word, we're just against each other. No, we're not. No, we're not. I date men. I like men. Depending on how this guy I'm seeing acts, I might decide to be in a relationship with him. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I just call out issues that need to be addressed and talked about, changes that need to be made, challenges that benefit you, ma'am, who keep saying that this is a war and we're just against each other. I'm not against men. I have a son who is a man. I have a daddy, and I love them. I love them very much. But I've also been through shit with men who aren't them that caused me to have to be in counseling for many years of my life. I witnessed a situation where a man made nearly $6 more than me for the same exact job, same exact experience, same company. I've been assaulted. I've been one of the 1 in 3 women who will, or is experiencing domestic abuse globally. 1 in 3. Do you not understand what that looks like? If you go to the mall right now and have all the women line up in a straight line, you can count 1, 2, 3. She has been in an abusive situation or will be. 1, 2, 3. She has been in an abusive situation or will be or is now. 1, 2, 3. She has. You see what I'm saying? That's the statistic for women. I've been in a situation where I couldn't afford to be out of work more than 2 weeks. When I had my second child, it was like a do or die situation, and a rash decision had to be made financially. so that I wouldn't have to return to work before it was time. And coincidentally, at that time, I was friends with a woman who literally had to return to work the next week when she had her children, several years prior to that. So I see how things affect women, especially women of color, disabled women, LGBTQ plus. So to sit there and say this is somehow a war and we're just fighting against each other, we just don't like each other and everybody needs to get along and both sides have things they need to work on, I'm going to call bullshit on that. I am. And yes, I know that there's horrible women. I do. I know that there's horrible mothers. I got one. But we can't deny statistics that show that all in all, across the board, women are most harmed. And it is at the hands of men. And they need to be called out. They need to be held accountable. Some might not be willing to receive the information, and that's okay. But I also know, as someone who's been there being a male apologist and trying to be liked by everyone, will not benefit you whatsoever. It's like running on a hamster wheel. You think you're moving and you're not. So anyway, those are my 2 cents. Bye.